Hello Lolas, welcome back to my channel guys. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell to be a part of the notification squad. So today I have Purpose here, and for those that may be new, Purpose is the prototype Ember by Jennifer Costello, which is Jen Oaks on Instagram. I wanted to bring her on and talk about a few little quick topics. So as some of you guys, as you guys know, Purpose, when I got Purpose, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon with her. From the moment she was blank to, painted, afterwards rooted, I just was so in love with this baby. I have gotten several sculpts after her. Several sculpts that I actually really love after her. And sometimes that can affect like how excited and how enthused you are about, some of your babies that's been in your collection for a while. Sometimes it's a matter of where you love multiple babies equally, but you can only keep so many, and you make a choice. You have to make a choice, like, which one do you keep? Which one, do you let go? A lot of times I decide on the one that I'm probably going to be, I'm going to be the most, I'm going to miss the most. Sometimes that's hard to even decide by using that factor. Then I go to which one is harder for me to replace, like get again. If I decide I want to paint the sculpt again, can I get that sculpt again? Is it sold out? Is it limited? How expensive the kit is, like all those different things. I'll try to consider that. There are so many different factors in how and why we choose to sell babies out of our collections that we truly, truly love, right? These babies are not cheap. They're very expensive, no matter how much you pay. If it's $500 is still expensive, right? For something that you don't have to have, right? Even though in our head we think we have to have it. But we, it's something that we've been doing from the test of times. I don't know if I like her with them tats on. But sometime you get a baby, and I'm gonna pull her down a little bit so I can be closer to her, guys, so just bear with me. All of her may not be in the frame, but it's okay. This spray bottle does not spray. It kind of just like squirts, and I can't stand it. But we, so I have a baby that is blank that I really, really love. A whole lot, like a lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, will I still feel the same about Purpose once this baby is painted and completed? You never know. But right now, as it stands, she's one of those babies, like I said, that I feel like is a forever baby. I don't see myself letting her go. I genuinely really love a lot of things about her, and sometimes I'm like, am I crazy? But it's just, the way that she feels when you pick her up. I love her little face. I don't know. I just love so many things about her. I love the way her coloring turned out. She's just a favorite. And it's like that. She's just a favorite. Kind of like how Jasmina was. Jasmina was a prime example of a baby that I absolutely loved, but made some hard choices to, you know, be able to do some other things that I needed to do at the time. But, you know, it always make it worth it when you see them, you know, they're being enjoyed by the second mommy and stuff like that. And I think that's what kind of actually sometimes allow, sometimes like second market allows people to get hold of babies that they missed out on, or they can't, you know, necessarily get again. And the thing is, a lot of people will be like, oh, we can, you know, even I say I look at like the sculpts and stuff, but sometimes like certain babies, I know I'll never reach that particular look again. I know I'll never reach that particular skin tone again. And it's like, I've said it too many times, like, oh, I'll just paint another one. But I know I'm not going to get that same look. So I'm just like, sometimes I just don't even bother. And then there's times that I've tried and it just, it's still not the same. I don't know. It's very hard. Like you can get into the, where it's like similar, you know, close, but then it doesn't have certain things that the other one had, or, and with silicone, even more so, each pore is kind of different, so that plays a part in not only the coloring but also like the feel. You know, the feel may be different. They may have switched, you know, what type of armatures they're using or something like that, and it's just like, it's not the same. And I think that's how some people will be like, oh, you know, so and so babies ain't all that, and then somebody else be like, oh my gosh, her babies are amazing. Because every single baby is different. Every single baby, every single pore, and then our taste is different too. So what I'm, you know, sometimes I'm going crazy about certain babies, and I know y'all probably be like, girl, please cut it out. Look, or like me and my friends always say, don't piss me off. Because what is you talking about? I just be trying to have her hair just like crazy all over the place. Like babies, like my grandbaby hair, he had so many different curl patterns in his head. It was so crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen that many curl patterns in a baby head. Like it was so funny. Like he had straight hair, he had wavy hair, he had curly hair, tight curls, loose curls. It was crazy. But he didn't have like a ton. He had a head full of hair, but it wasn't like so thick that you couldn't see the scalp, if that makes sense. And I think most anyway, sorry, got a message, just kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, so you know, sometimes when you see people, and then sometimes, you know, these babies are very expensive and people have life situations that come up, and yeah, you might see them in a couple of weeks buying another baby or something like that. And I'm not saying people that come with a sad story and tell you a sad story. I'm talking about sometimes people just don't announce, and they just be like, hey, I got this baby up for sale. And I know we like fall in love with each other babies and stuff, but sometimes you never know why they really have to sell that baby. I remember there was a time in my life, many years ago, where I sold quite a bit of my babies, and I didn't tell anybody, but I had a real life personal situation happening with me, and I had to sell almost all my collection. Because I didn't want to try to figure it out another way when I had things that wasn't a necessity. And so yeah, it wasn't a necessity. So I just, I did what I had to do, but I'm not one of those people that like to come on and say, oh, I gotta sell this, I gotta sell this because of this and that. Because some of my stuff is just my personal business, right? And the doll is going to be up for sale. And if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it regardless of what the reason is behind it. You don't need to know that my cat hip been misplaced and I got to put my dog in rehab for drugs or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to know all that. Like, but I'm not, talking against people that don't mind sharing. I'm just saying sometimes you don't know. It might be a hidden reason of why someone's selling. So sometimes it's kind of hard when you're dealing with that and then someone says, yeah, don't let it go. Why? And they're thinking in their stuff, like, I really don't want to, but I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Now, let me say this. Don't get stuck on the bubble gum. I have people that are closer to me. Some of my customers are closer to me, and they may write me in private and be like, hey, you sure you want to do this? Because they know how I'll let a baby go real quick and then be like, dang, I wish I wouldn't have let it go. So I'm not saying that to say, if anybody's messaged me, recently or something about a baby that, oh, I'm trying to let you know, don't do that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, because I know, every relationship is different. You may have a special relationship with someone and that's just how y'all talk. I have a friend that'll tell me like, girl, you gonna regret if you let go, blah, 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 blah. Or she'll be like, you need to let go every other baby except this baby. Let that be the last one. And sometimes, we do stuff on impulse and sometimes we need somebody to be like, hey, you sure? Because sometimes things work out. You know what I mean? Sometimes things work out. And over time, like I said, you'll see somebody sell, a bunch of their babies and they'll say they had stuff going on and get worked out. Some other stuff come through and okay, they want to replace their baby. They babies that they had to get rid of. They get new babies. Now, I don't like to see in the community, and I'm not going to get too much in this, but I see this a lot. I've seen where people like put up GoFundMes for their personal lives, something going on in their personal lives. They don't try to sell their personal collection or nothing like that. I mean, and I feel like if it's that near and dear to you, then you should be trying to, let go of some things to fund whatever family events going on. That's just my personal opinion. But then people do a lot of donating, and then the next thing you know, here they come with a $20,000 doll, but you just didn't have enough to get your granny teeth, put in. You know what I mean? Like, make it make sense. So, but that's, no here or there. But otherwise, I think, you just let people do what they do. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is Purpose. I'm gonna let her hair dry. It's always like stringy when it's wet, and then when it dry, it'll, kind of naturally fill out and stuff. But just FYI, at the end of the day, she's still my favorite. She's still my dream baby. Regardless if everybody else question whether she is or not. She has her tongue in her mouth, by the way, guys. It's just down in her mouth where you can't see it. It looks so horrible when you do this. Hold on. When I push it all the way down, it looks so horrible when you have to try to pull it out like that. But I put it in there. That way it's like you don't lose it. I won't lose hers because I keep it in a little container normally. But you can stick it out. But this tongue will stick with her. Like usually I'll switch tongues and it don't matter, like they, you know, like if I have another baby and they need a tongue and they're on their way out, I could just give them tongue. But this tongue was specifically painted to match her skin tone and go with her look. I mimicked from a real baby that was about her skin complexion and what color their tongue was. And so it was a certain look that I wanted. So it's very specific to her. Everything about this baby was very, I wanted her to be a certain way. So that's that. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.